Happy Friday, happy Friday. I gotta get excited, it's Friday. Alright, so, you don't have to not like your job to be excited about Friday. Friday means you can get a break from work at least, or at least going to work. Well, maybe not everybody. That's the one thing that I've been so happy about changing my job. I did, it's like 5 years ago that I changed my job, but the happiness from not ever having to work a weekend, is amazing, especially when the kids are in school because, oh my goodness, there would be days when I was working at the hospital and I knew it was a gorgeous weekend day, and here I was in the hospital working with people, and my kids were at home, and my husband was either taking them out to go do things or playing with them outside, and I was in the hospital working. Yeah, so super awesome, right? So that is definitely a huge benefit of now working home health. Unfortunately, the nurses still have to work weekends and holidays, so I definitely feel for them. That was probably one of the hardest things, is when it was my turn to work a holiday, and having to go in. So, I really give it up to the people who make working in places like the hospital their full-time gig, because, they're giving up nights, weekends, holidays, and stuff from their family in order to provide amazing care for people in need. And that just is amazing to me, that people will do that long term. That's definitely not something that I could handle doing forever. And the other thing that I give it up to them is all the hard work they do. I mean, working in a hospital is not an easy gig. If you think for one moment that, it's easy to do what they're doing, it is not, especially the nurses. You could not ever pay me enough to be a nurse in a hospital, because they are the front lines for everything. They are the ones that if something's going down with a patient and quick, they're the ones that are right there making the decisions, calling the doctor, saying this is going on, we need, something down here and quick. And it's an unfortunate thing in this day and age that documentation is such an issue. Insurance companies, I know that they have been, pardon my language, but screwed over by unscrupulous people. There are those people out there who have charged for services that weren't ever complete. They charged for services that weren't as long. They charged for more things. They, did all sorts of illegal actions. And because of those people doing those things and overcharging the system, and it costing, taxpayers essentially so much money when it comes to Medicare and Medicaid patients, that the government and whatever, they're making it so much harder for nurses and therapists and doctors to just do their job, because if you've ever been in a hospital and you think, where's my nurse? Well, you know where your nurse is? Your nurse is trying to document everything, because every medication that he or she gives out, every action that they do with a patient has to be documented thoroughly in that patient's chart. And not only does it have to be documented, but that nurse has so many patients that they are required to watch. And so here they are, trying to make sure the documentation's right, that they get all the medications in and given to the patient at the right time, that they're watching for, is everything going well with the patient, eyes on sort of a thing. Oh my gosh. The one thing I told my husband, is I said, if I ever had to go in the hospital and be admitted, he better darn well sit his ass right there and just inform them that he's not leaving. Because, it's not that I think that the nurses will necessarily do a bad job. I think that they're overworked. hmm I think that they have too much to do, and unfortunately, with the nurses and the aides, because I will give it up to the techs at the hospital too. I mean, they have so much to do. I mean, it's not a quick thing to go in and help somebody go to the bathroom or change, get changed or clean up or, whatever it is that that person needs to do. Some people are completely dependent for care and it takes time. And they can only be in one place at one time. It's not possible. So what happens is people, ring their bell, like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and nobody comes, and nobody comes, and they're waiting and waiting. And I can't tell you how many times that I've heard, oh, from my patients, oh, nobody came, and I couldn't hold it any longer, and I messed the bed. And how embarrassing and dehumanizing is it that you're trying to follow hospital rules, which is typically don't get up without a hospital person, like a tech or a nurse or somebody in the room with you, so that they have fall prevention in place, because if somebody falls, then the hospital, of course, is at liability, and also a person can get really hurt. So here's a person trying to abide by what they're told, which is don't get up without help. Nobody comes, or they can't get up, and nobody comes, and they mess themselves. And sometimes it's just urine, and just urine. I mean, really just urine. I mean, you pee all over yourself and the bed, and you're soaked, the bedding's soaked, everything smells. Like, how horribly embarrassing. Or what if you had a bowel movement and you pooped everywhere? So embarrassing. And it isn't always the fault of people. Yes, there are those bad seeds out there that, don't do their jobs as quickly as they should. Or those who are just tired, they've worked long shifts and they're not moving as fast as maybe they were at the beginning of the shift. Or, they get stuck in that room with somebody else. I mean, so many things can happen, and, it's really up to family members and friends at this point in time to help to advocate for their loved ones who are in the hospital and to help them as needed. It's to me, it's such a sad time, and, and then people who don't understand this, just look at, they're not getting the service that they used to get at the hospital. And, oh, I don't like that hospital anymore because of blah, blah, blah. Well, are you really going to, hold it against the people trying to do the best of their jobs for something that they have no control over? It's a hard thing, because when you're in the hospital, you expect that they're going to be there to help you. Sorry about the rant, but I'll tell you, once I get started, there was no stopping me on that one. So again, hats off to nurses and techs in the hospital. You are freaking amazing. So, oh, well, look at that. Some of my little, let's see, can you see it? Yeah, some of the little things came out of this. Oh, well, that's interesting. I'm trying something new here, and, I think this is also a new product. It's with Unique. It's called Touch Behold. It's SPF finishing powder, so it's got the powder on it, but also a sunscreen. So I thought, that's kind of cool, and and it's easy to apply. I mean, you just push the thing down and put it on, and when you're done, you pull it up and put it away. So, but it looks like they need to do some, either I got a weird one or they need to do something with the bristles, because I am curious how they're all attached, and they plan to keep it that way, because it's got to be open enough to let the powder come through, but yet attached so they don't come out. So anyway, it's a new product, and I like the fact that it definitely, I don't know if you guys can tell, but as I was putting it on, my face was definitely less shiny, so it's definitely doing that. And with as humid as it's been, I haven't gotten as like that greasy, shiny, sweaty as quickly as possible. But this is pretty new, and some of the bristles are already coming out. So I give 75% awesome. Anyway, and if you wonder what I was using here, this was the unique BB Flawless cream, and this is the first time that I have used it. Multitasking tinted BB cream, and for the summer months, to put it on and give me moisturizer, and kind of just covers things, evens things out. It doesn't really cover things up, but it evens it out. Is pretty cool. But that's why, since I've got a little bit of under eye circles, that I also added some of the concealer as well. All right, so it's Friday. Does anybody have any plans for the weekend? Because I am telling you, I don't. I don't. I guess it depends on how the weather goes. My husband is taking my middle child down to Detroit to go to a baseball game with his brother. So the three of them are going to go, and husband's leaving today, dropping my other two kids off at the parents, heading down there, coming back on Sunday. So I am all alone with the kids and the pups this weekend. And I know the two that are staying home are like, hey, what are we gonna do this weekend? Because they're like, well, if they're going and doing something fun, we want to do something fun too. So I'll be honest, I haven't planned a dang thing. I used to be such a planner and look ahead and have everything, planned out. And you know what happens when you plan too hard? If things don't go right, it's really disappointing and upsetting. So I tend to try to not plan too much, because you just never know how the day's gonna roll. So try to have an idea and then roll with how things are really going. And in this case, I have 0 ideas. Although, when in doubt, we could always rent a movie, because we've got Apple TV. We could rent a movie at home, or get some takeout, although I'm sure the kids would like to go somewhere and do something. I don't know. I think part of it depends on how I am feeling. All right, so grateful. So I've been doing that thing of naming things that I'm grateful for, and I will tell you, it is actually helping. So here we go. Grateful. I'm grateful it's Friday. I'm grateful that although I'm seeing 5 people today, I only have to document for 4, because I'm still working on orientation with one of the new therapists, and she is documenting on the one patient. Woo-hoo. I am grateful for my peppermint essential oils, because I'm going to desperately need them. One of my patients I'm going to see has 12 cats in their homes, and it is hot today. So as you can imagine, that is going to be stinky. I am grateful for having the ability to do things with my kids, and I'm grateful for the little timer up here, because it tells me that my time's up. Okay, hope you all have a great weekend. Bye.